Good morning and welcome into this Friday edition of Good Morning Vail. I'm your host, Ross Leonhardt. It is the 18th of October. We are having some weather going on out there. We checked the cameras. A-Basin is making snow. It's happening. Cold temperatures to coming in this weekend, but it should be a great weekend. It's Friday. Grab that cup of coffee. We got a great show coming up. Good Morning Vail starts right now. Welcome into the TV8 Weather Center on this Friday morning. Some dew on the car, some cold temperatures. Feels like winter is coming right now. 39 degrees to start the day at 8 a.m. We'll see a high of 54 degrees today. Pretty chilly. 40% chance of that precipitation. Afternoon thunderstorms expected. Some small winds, 5 to 10 miles coming in from the south-southeast today. Into the hourly, 39 degrees to start at 8 a.m. We'll see temperatures get up to 53 degrees here at noon. Still mostly cloudy skies throughout the day. And at 4 p.m., 52 degrees and down to 44 degrees at 8 p.m. Those mostly cloudy skies are going to hang around all day throughout the Rocky Mountain region. Today in Eagle, a high of 58, Avon, a high of 56, Vail, a high of 54, and some chances of precipitation throughout the Rocky Mountains. Denver, a high of 55 today and a 30% chance of precipitation on the Front Range today. Into tonight, a low of 39 degrees. Burr, 20% chance of precipitation and mostly cloudy skies hanging around all day today. Sunset at 6:23 p.m. and those winds start coming 5 to 10 miles per hour later tonight. Into this weekend, partly cloudy skies hang around tomorrow on Saturday with a 20% chance of precipitation and a high of 59 degrees, low of 37. Sunday, afternoon showers expected, 80% chance of that precipitation and a high of 53. So those highs hanging around the 50s, low 60s coming up, and those lows in the 30s. So buckle up and get some warm weather clothes out because it's time. Up next, we will be right back with the show.
Good morning, Vail.
Did you know that all Eagle County residents and visitors can get a free Eagle Valley Library District card? All you need is a photo ID. You get our online databases and resources, free music, free streaming, all from wherever you have internet access. Free audiobooks and e-audiobooks straight to your phone. Go into your Eagle Valley Library District branch today and get your library card.
Woods presents Nashville Roadhouse Live. where country meets rock and roll.
It's where I drank my first beer, where I found Jesus, where I wrecked my first car, I tore it all to pieces. Join us every week for more live performances right here on Nashville Roadhouse Live.
I'm Jason Kennedy, and this is The Wager. Let's go, Wes! We've all heard about this pickleball craze. Celebrities are playing pickleball matches all the time, and they're challenging each other to these ridiculous bets. Now I'm bringing the cameras to their house with new celebrities and a new bet every week.
Hell of a rally there.
It's just real, genuine conversation.
I got invited to Usher's birthday party. What am I doing here?
And some pretty crazy antics.
Good morning, Vail.
This kind of weather makes you want to curl up with a nice book or make a big pot of chili. Just don't drop it on the office floor. We got a nice chili recipe for you. Let's take a look.
We're in the kitchen, and this time we're cooking up my recipe.
Yes.
Well, a version of it. This is a kind of a combination of what I like to make, but also with a good base from lots of Googling on the internet. But Ross, we are in the kitchen today,
Yes.
and we are making turkey chili. I feel like this is like a practice run.
Okay.
You know, here we go. It's cold outside. We're making chili for the chilly temperatures. So we're making a turkey chili, which is really great. And typically you can do it in one pot, but we want to show you all of the steps by step. So we've got a skillet here as well as a main pot to cook everything in.
Cool.
Yeah. So have you made chili before?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's easy, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure everybody has their own like secret recipe or way that they've done it for years, but this is a really easy basis for it. And we're just going to go ahead and get started. So it starts with 1 pound of ground turkey, and I like to use the 99% lean because you don't really want too many excess juices, because as it simmers, it kind of liquefies and everything melds together towards the end. So if you want to get started on browning our ground turkey,
We're going.
I've got a really fun kitchen gadget. I don't even know how to talk about this because it is a multi-use tool, but this is my favorite way to chop vegetables. You literally just put it in the middle and then you just press down on it. So we've got some pre-cooked cut onions already. We're gonna go ahead and just put this on here and just push it down nice and easy. It gathers everything, it keeps it clean. It's just one of my favorite kitchen tools to use by far. It actually also turns into a mandolin, but we don't need to worry about that today. So we've got red peppers, we've got 1 whole onion, 1 red pepper, and then also some diced garlic. And this is the basis of our I guess you could say of like the vegetable flavors that usually are within chili, but sometimes I like to add a lot of extra vegetables, but we're just gonna keep it simple today.
There's no wrong way to make a chili.
There really isn't.
Whatever you choose, it's gonna be great.
It's absolutely true. So I've got 1 whole onion here, and then I'm just gonna go ahead and add this onion to my pot. So we've already heated it up with about a tablespoon of olive oil just to get things sizzling, and nothing sounds better to me than hearing a sizzle in the kitchen. But we're getting all of that going, and you want your vegetables to kind of cook down for about five-ish minutes or so before we add the turkey in. And you really have a choice of seasoning your turkey however you want to. So we've got lots of different seasonings here. We've got chili powder, garlic powder, salt, pepper, red pepper flakes, a little bit of cumin if you wanted to throw that in there. And it's just kind of to taste. You know, you can follow a recipe, but I say the best meals are made with love and not measurements.
That's it. That's it.
That's so true. But this is a really great weeknight meal to throw together. You can freeze it. It freezes really well. And we are just making a mess over here in the kitchen.
What was that?
I think I knocked over the hot sauce, which is a key element, in my opinion, to the chili. So are you a spicy chili kind of guy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Oh yeah. I like to put the jalapenos in it at the end.
Oh, that
Got a
sounds
nice kick.
delicious. All right, so we've got all of our vegetables chopped. And Ross, next to you, we've got 3 cloves of garlic minced in this little Tupperware right here.
Lovely.
So we're just kind of mixing everything together. The flavors, if you could smell the flavors in here, it's, oh my gosh. I can't believe it's morning.
Coming together.
It is coming together. Those onions are sizzling down. We're cooking it for about 5 minutes. Same with the red peppers, but they don't have to be fully cooked down because everything is just going to continue to melt together as you let it sit on the stove for about 30 minutes minimum, 45 if you really want the good flavors. But we're just over here doing a lot of cooking. So, you know, we've got the big football game coming up with the NFL.
Right.
You know, this is a really great thing to make. You know, if you don't want to do a bunch of football appetizers, you can just throw a pot of chili together. And
Yeah.
Smells great, looks great. People's bellies will be filled. It's wonderful. So what do you like to put in your chili typically?
So yeah, I like the hot stuff, but I'm definitely kind of a peppers and onions guy.
Okay.
And then definitely I'm a big bean guy. So like I love chili because it's all of that put together, right?
Right. So I'm on the right track, is what you're telling
It's
me.
looking great, yeah, looking great. And then what I love to do is chili's so great left over, right? So you can just heat it up either later in the day or the next day and get a nice warm meal.
And it's one of those meals where you don't get sick of eating it multiple days in a row. This to me is a staple in the wintertime. I'll usually make a big pot and then throw half of it in the freezer and then eat the rest of it throughout the week.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So it just smells so good. You can see that these onions are starting to really start to melt down a little bit and become a little bit more translucent.
Yeah.
And you know, we're just softening it all up because we'll throw that ground turkey in here and then we just continue to add things. So outside of the ground turkey, we've got all the spices. We're cooking everything down. Now, I have a secret recipe that I like to do, but typically you would start with 2 cans of 14 ounces of diced tomatoes, or you can do crushed tomatoes if you want it to be a little bit more, I guess you could say like blended or less chunky. That's a good way to do it. So we've got 2 cans of diced tomatoes, which we can go ahead and add those in here. And so while you stir that, well, if you wouldn't mind passing me the tomatoes,
Here
Ross.
is one tomato for you, and I'll get the other one going for you.
Awesome. We're going to go ahead and pop these open here, and we're just going to dump it into the pot. So easy as that. I like to use no salt added so that I can add as much or as little seasoning as I want to the mix. I think it just adds a little bit. You know, we've got sodium and everything that we eat most of the time anyways. So we've added those in there, and then I've got 1 can of dark red kidney beans. Now we've already pre-washed and drained the can so that we can just dump it right into the pot here. So we've got the base of all of our vegetables in the mix here. So we've got 1 red pepper, 1 whole onion, some garlic, about 3 cloves of garlic tossed in there, 2 14-ounce cans of diced tomatoes, and 1 can of kidney beans. So looking good, we've got that in there, and you're working on the turkey, and the best part is we can literally just take that pan and dump it in here.
Love it.
It's so simple. Throw the pan into the sink when you're done, and we can wash everything afterwards. So it can be a 1-pan meal, but we wanted to kind of show you all the different things. So one of the things that I like to do, though, I have a secret ingredient.
All right, what is it?
I love to put apple cider vinegar in mine, and
Okay.
then to make this a little bit, just to give it a little bit more of an acidic flavor.
Okay, cool.
And then to add a little bit more texture and consistency, I add a little bit of tomato sauce as well.
Oh,
So those are my 2 secrets.
I was wondering what we were doing with the marinara over here.
You know, we're making a little bit of pasta too.
Love
Is
it.
there anything, like, what do you typically put in yours as well?
Not apple cider vinegar, no.
Well, it gives it a nice, like, citrus, a nice acidic taste to it. I know that the tomato does have that, but it adds a little bit of extra, plus some Worcestershire.
Yeah.
That's a fun word to say. So
Yeah.
I like to just kind of throw everything in there and then taste as we go. So
Good.
let's go ahead and dump the,
Ready for it?
yeah, we'll go ahead, turn off the stove, which is a big important thing to do. Then we're just gonna dump this in here, so you don't even have to drain it. You know, I love to have the extra juices added in there. There we go. Looks delicious, smells delicious. You know, we heard all of the sizzling kitchen sounds, which we love here. And then we're just gonna stir this around. And you can see we've got a bunch of different flavors we can throw in. So Worcestershire, it's always hard to say. You can measure it, you know, like a teaspoon if you want to, but I just kind of put, you know, 5 or 6 dashes in. And
5 or 6 dashes.
5 or 6.
1, 2, 3,
I won't-
4,
I
5,
won't
6, 7, 8,
count.
9, 8.
That's my favorite.
6. That was 6.
We throw that in there, and then the apple cider vinegar. So we have a little bit here, as you can see. But this one, I would say you'd be a little bit more, I do maybe a tablespoon.
Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe a tablespoon?
maybe a tablespoon. So we're gonna estimate this is about a tablespoon, and it just gives it some added extra flavor. And I'll just stir it up there, and you can just smell all of the flavors coming together. And it's just, to me, it's like frosting a cake. You just layer everything. It starts to like look really good, and you add it as you feel like it. And then another thing that I like to add in there is actually some chicken bouillon.
Okay.
It gives it a little bit more spice. If I can get it open here, we add a little bit of chicken bouillon. If you have the cubes, I'll add 1 or 2 cubes to my chili. But with this one, we'll probably throw about a tablespoon of the powdered version in it as well. That's where it gives a little bit of extra sodium, a little extra flavor. You just kind of mix it together. And one of the most important ingredients, chili powder.
Yes.
So you cannot forget to add that chili powder into the mix. You usually do about 2 tablespoons of that, or you just throw it in as you feel like it. And a little bit of chicken bouillon. And then the last piece that we're gonna add about a cup of the chicken broth. And then depending on what it looks like, we'll throw a little bit more of the tomato sauce in there. So that's kind of an as needed basis. So yeah, it's got a lot of different things in it, but you know, it's really however you feel like feeling it. So I'm gonna let you go ahead and pour that. I'll tell you what.
Oh yeah, this looks like about a cup.
Okay, you can dump it even faster. It looks great. Okay, that's good for me. And then we'll add that tomato sauce right at the very end. And it's just gonna be great. We'll leave it here. We'll let it all simmer together, and then we'll come back and check on it later. It's gonna be delicious.
So easy.
So easy. Just throw everything in a pot. Now stay tuned. We'll be right back after this.
Hola, mi nombre es Rocío García y trabajo como coordinadora de alcance de eventos para los hispanos. ¿Sabía usted que
It's time for the best coverage of the top stories in sports. The Sports Wrap with Jason Page starts now.
How do you make Anthony Edwards the face of your franchise if you're the Minnesota Timberwolves? We'll get into that. And we say hello to our good friend Matt Verderam, who hangs out with us from SI.com. They're NFL insider, one of them, is hanging out with us on the program today. Did you see Caitlin Clark last night? She put up a 40-burger, hits the game-winning 3 as time expires. Let's turn our attention to the Denver Broncos, one of the NFL's most dysfunctional situations.
The Sports Wrap with Jason Page. From small towns to big cities and everywhere in between, we're covering the great things that are happening right now in the USA. This is Positively America with Ernie Anastas.
Each week, we're going to focus on the great things that are happening every day in the USA. We'll feature change makers.
In every older person, there's a younger person saying, how did this happen?
Innovators.
I talk about design the way some people might talk about like the person they're in love with.
Doers and dreamers.
You can use that recognition to pay it forward.
Ordinary Americans accomplishing extraordinary things.
When you smile, you receive one back most of the time.
We're going to prove to you that optimism and hope are paving the way to an even brighter tomorrow.
We've got a lot of programs that are specifically focused on the children of our fallen heroes.
At Positively America, our mission is to feature good news.
For the latest and greatest trends in pop entertainment, Popstar Today brings you compelling celebrity lifestyle stories that matter most to you. From movies, music, TV, and streaming shows, to fashion, social media influencers, and the latest on who is seeing who. Join host Elizabeth Stanton as she digs deep and dives in. This is Popstar Today.
Good morning, Vail.
The ski season is coming and snowboard season, and one new business right here in Avon is offering a locker service. Let's take a look at this new business.
Well, that weather looks pretty incredible, but I'm thinking about the winter weather that's coming up, and that's why I have this guest sitting next to me. I'm really excited. This is our brand new neighbor here in town, Chuck Pass from Bluebird Lockers. This is something that everybody's going to be excited about, whether you are a boarder, a skier, a telemarker, whatever you do. When you want to get up there and fight for lockers or have all that cramped space, no more, because we have you here now. Chuck, I'm really excited to have you here today and as our new neighbor here in the Seasons building in Avon. Tell us all about the Bluebird Locker system that you have planned for all of our athletes and, well, wannabe athletes that are here in our community.
Absolutely. Well, Liz, I want to first of all say thank you very much for having me here.
Our pleasure.
To talk about our new business in the Seasons.
Right.
And we are bluebirdskilockers.com, so you can go to that site and learn more about it. But we're going to make it easy for people. We're having different size lockers for 2 sets of skis, for 4 sets of skis, and of course for your snowboards.
Mm-hmm.
You can put your helmets, some clothes, gloves, accessories in there, so you don't have to schlep it from your condo or your house all the time. You can walk across the street to the Weston lift, so you can go 100 feet or so in your boots, so you don't have to go too far. We want to make it easy for everybody.
Well, I can tell just by listening to what you're saying, it makes it easy. Number one, there's a lot of people that do not like walking around in those boots. They're not really fun. They're super cumbersome. So if you have stairs to deal with or anything like that, you are a hop, skip, and a lift away.
Absolutely.
You like that, how I did that?
Exactly.
Yeah. But this is cool because of the different sizes as well. Now, I've seen your space, which is right next to us here on TV8. It's massive.
Right.
So you're going to have a lot of space for people.
Absolutely. So we're going to have a lounge area where we'll have TVs, couches. So before you go out, you can sit and wait for your partners to come by. We're going to have an outside space. There's a beautiful patio that you can reach to. We'll have 3 entrances and exits. We'll have several changing rooms. We have our own restrooms.
Wow.
We're also going to have a small kitchenette so you can have coffee, tea. We'll have some food there for you. We're going to make it easy and fun for you. Accessibility 24/7.
Look how pretty that is.
7 days a week, exactly. So this is all new stuff that we're coming out with. So the idea is to make it almost like a club.
That's what I was thinking. I was thinking it's more like a little gathering space. You can meet your friends there when you're getting ready and all the other fun stuff, but it's really a nice environment. It's almost like a really fancy health club's locker area where you go in and you just feel good. It's kind of elegant looking, but you're doing your favorite sport of life, and then you get to meet your friends, and literally you are right here. So you don't have to worry about walking too far, getting to that lift, or even just going to the parking spaces are really close.
Oh, absolutely. We want to make everything accessible, not make it so hard. I mean, skiing, you have a big workout, truthfully. But if you get your stuff and you can dress easily, and with your friends, it's going to be a social. That's what we want to make it.
I love that.
Very social activity. And like you said, it's going to be like a club.
Yep.
A fancy club is the idea.
And everybody gets to see each other with their helmets off first. So
Right.
everybody can recognize who everybody is at the same time.
Exactly.
Which I think is great. Now, I am not, anybody who knows me knows I'm not the greatest skier. But what I did figure out when I was trying is it's a very cumbersome sport. I couldn't even, and I'm not that strong, so I couldn't lug everything. And if I had to lug it all the way up to the lift and everything else, it would be really, it wouldn't make it fun for me.
Exactly.
And it didn't make it fun for me.
Right. You'd be worn out before you got to
I was
to
exhausted.
to the thing. The other few things that we're offering people is that if you want to have your skis tuned, you let us know. We're working with another sporting goods store that tunes skis.
Wow.
We will take them out of your locker for you. We will deliver them, get them tuned overnight, and bring them back.
That's a service.
So that's a good little service for you. If you live out of town, you're only going to come for a week or two. We're also going to save some lockers that you could rent for a week, which is a little different than most people do. You can ship them to us. We'll ship them back to you. We're going to make it as easy as possible for you. But we really found that taking care of your skis and bindings and boots, and if you have a problem and you don't have time to get it fixed, we'll take care of it for you.
This is full service.
It's full service. We're also going to have a little area in there that you can do a little bit of tweaking on your skis too. We'll have a few.
Good morning, Vail.
This show looks at anything that has an engine and a story told by the owners. This is a scooter. Have you had it the whole time?
I have not. It's actually the third time I've owned the car.
Sell, regret, sell, regret. To the actual prototype GT40, I got to sit in that car.
Oh, I gotta get me one of these, man.
We've got all the muscle, the speed, and the stories.
I got stage 4 cancer. A bunch of friends came together and decided if this thing needed to get done then. A lot of friends came together and made this thing happen.
Hey, if it has an engine and a story, you're going to hear about it on rides. Almost every vehicle, doesn't matter what walk of life you're from, there's some tie to your past.
Learn the latest in science each week and how it relates to everyday life. From space exploration to plant biology, to the latest in high-tech advances. Every new scientific development is explored and explained in an understandable way. Amazing stories each week. Watch Science Now.
Coming at you from around the world. The biggest names in sports, entertainment, and business.
Here we go.
Yeah, there's no way. Exclusive access and one-on-one conversations.
Yeah, you guys really did some deep research.
I don't think we should give him any more information.
In depth with Graham Bensinger.
Hi there. Are you ready to explore famous neighborhoods from New York City to Kentucky? Watch The Neighborhood with host Nicole Newman. Featuring famous people, unique history, and delicious places to eat and drink. Our viewers get an inside personal look at each neighborhood. With each episode we learn, grow, laugh, and live like a local, not just a visitor. Welcome to The Neighborhood. Check your local program schedule and tune in.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome into the TV8 Weather Center on this Friday morning. It's a cool Friday. It is going to be a cool weekend, possibly a wet weekend as well. We shall see. 39 degrees to start the day at 8 a.m. We'll see a high of 54 degrees today with a 40% chance of precipitation. A lot of afternoon thunderstorms expected. 5 to 10 mile per hour winds today. Nothing too crazy, but a little chilly. Into the hourly, things heat up to about 53 degrees at noon, 52 degrees at 4 p.m., and down to 44 degrees at 8 p.m. But mostly cloudy skies hovering around today, and the cars are filled with dew this morning, so be prepared for that if you're heading out this morning. Into the I-70 corridor, Eagle a high of 58, Avon a high of 56, Vail a high of 54 degrees today. We did see A-Basin had their snow guns going, so they are making snow and cool temperatures way up there. Denver a high of 55 degrees and some chances of precipitation throughout Colorado today. Into tonight, a low of 39 with mostly cloudy skies, sunset at 6:23. We've been having some awesome sunrises and sunsets lately, so we'll see if we can catch this one through the clouds. Low of 39, 20% chance of precipitation, some decent 5 to 10 mile per hour winds tonight. Into the rest of the weekend and early next week, some clouds expected Saturday and Sunday with those afternoon thunderstorms expected on Sunday. Temperatures hovering around those mid to upper 50s the next couple days for the highs, and the lows in the 30s. So a little bit of everything out there. And into next week, kind of warms up a little bit heading into Wednesday there with a high of 62 and some sun coming out, but be prepared for a little bit of everything out there. And one thing that'll help you if there is weather out there is an e-bike to get you there quicker. And up next, we're going to take a look at how an e-bike can help you.
Hi friends, welcome to Vail Vibes. Avisha Scarborough here, and today we're coming to you from Nottingham Park in Avon, and I'm about to take you for a ride on the wild side. Wild Side e-bikes. They get you to where you need to go fast. I got to explore Avon and Vail by bike in a way that was not above my endurance abilities. And even though my bike had a motor and throttle, I still got to work out while doing it, thanks to being able to lower the assistance levels. Wildside owner Paul Healds says you could always get plenty of exercise depending on which of the 5 power levels you choose.
You can use one of our bikes and use it in the lowest power mode and do more of a workout. You can turn the power off completely and you'll have plenty of exercise. Alternatively, you can turn it up to number 5 and just kick back and cruise from A to B.
Paul has owned a successful ski luggage company for years, but it was some unfortunate bike rides in high humidity that inspired him to get into e-bikes.
Using a bike as a commuter vehicle, a mode of transportation, which I was doing, and I was riding what I call a regular old ice cream bike. Had to pedal it all over the place. I would be getting hot and sweaty, my shirts would be pitted out within about 5 minutes of riding. And my wife looked at me when I was grumbling one day and she says, well, get an e-bike. And I said, not a bad idea, but I don't want a run-of-the-mill e-bike, I want something cool.
So he designed a bike drawing inspiration from the motorcycles of the 1950s, which seemed to epitomize cool. Once he was happy with the design,
this is the battery.
He decided to build it into a brand, and that's how Wildside came to be. Here he is showing us one of his most popular bikes, the Paris, which is designed to look more like a classic cruiser than a motorcycle. Paul says one of the best parts about Wildside's bikes are the accessories. From the helmets to baskets, these accessories are a stylish addition. Paul says some people aren't ready to embrace e-bikes, but he suggests they change their perspective a little.
Well, I think anybody riding an e-bike, the first thing somebody says to them that's on what we call an analog bike now, a regular bike, is cheater. You know, people shout cheater. That's really not what electric bikes are about. The question to me is, well, who are they cheating? Who are they trying to beat? Our bikes are, as I like to say, a mode of transportation. They get people from A to B, and you can have fun while you're doing it.
Wildside's company motto is dedicated to reawakening the spirit of your inner child. And this artwork behind him is a reminder of that.
That's our inner child. See, that's one of the things that we found with Wildside, was when you get on this bike, however young or however old you are, however experienced or inexperienced you are at riding a bike, there's something about jumping on a Wildside electric bike that puts a smile on your face, and all of a sudden you have fun. And all of a sudden it takes you back to your youth, when you had a bicycle, and all of a sudden you had your independence. And you could leave mum and dad alone. You could go off to the park. You could go play with your friends, you know.
I know my inner child was happy this day. And if you want to take a test drive on the Wildside, you can visit the Wildside Bike Showroom in Avon. For TV8 in Vail, I'm Avisha Scarborough.
Take the first game every one of us played in the schoolyard. Turn up the degree of difficulty to maximum, and then let loose some of the fastest and most agile athletes in the world to go one-on-one in what you have is the most extreme pursuit contest you've ever known. It's intense, it's addictive, and there's only one rule. Don't get caught.
Oh my gosh. If you haven't seen World Chase Tag before, here's how it works.
2 teams of up to 6 athletes compete in a series of one-on-one chases. Each chase lasts up to 20 seconds and has 1 chaser and 1 evader.
Opportunities of points on the board! Oh!
Whoever wins the duel stays on as the evader, and teams get 1 point for each evasion they make.
And it looks like the opening point of this contest.
It's the best of 16 chases to win the match, with a sudden death chase-off required to break any ties. It's win or go home from now on. Don't miss it.
Experience the beauty of fall on the rails of the Leadville Railroad. Take in the cool mountain breeze as you climb to 11,000 feet to watch the vibrant reds, oranges, and golds of fall come alive. Enjoy delicious hot beverages, learn some history, and relax with family and friends. Create fall memories in the heart of the Rocky Mountains. Offering daily trips, the weekend specials sell out fast. To secure your seat, book today at leadvillerailroad.com.
For fun and adventure, join me on Elizabeth Stanton's Great Big World. Find out where I'll be going next and which celebrities I'll be bringing along with me. I'll show you amazing destinations with lots to explore, and you'll get to know my celebrity guests the way they really are, up close and personal. We'll travel the world, experience new cultures, and together, try to make a difference. I'm Elizabeth Stanton, saying the world's a big place, and I'm going to show it to you.
Coming up this season on Ready, Set, Renovate, we see one couple fall in love with a waterfront fixer-upper.
It sort of wrapped its arms around us and said, you want me, and we did.
And watch as another battles over the budget.
We're trying to look through and see where we can trim at this point.
Are you looking to trim it, Ginger?
No.
No. Construction pros show us the right way to renovate.
Well, we had to do a roof over. We had to hand build a lot of the trusses.
As we're putting the thin set down, the self-leveler has a little clip that clips up underneath the edge of the tile.
Good morning, Vail.
It's always a good time to gather with friends and family, and if you're doing that, we have a peach cake recipe for you to try out next time you're gathering with friends. It doesn't take a million peaches, but you might want to try it with it. Let's take a look.
Now we are in the kitchen, and we're always cooking up simple, easy desserts or food to make that you don't have to have many ingredients and can have almost all of the ingredients at home. I'm going to show you a very easy version of a peach crumble. Growing up in the South, I loved to have peach pie or apple pie, but don't necessarily have the time to cut all of the fruit and make all of the dough. So we're just going to go ahead and show you an easy hack to do that. All you need are 3 ingredients. We've got canned peaches. I like to do the organic as best as possible. You've got your classic yellow cake plus Land O'Lakes butter. Now, if you wanted to, you can always add some additional ingredients, and I'll explain kind of how that goes. So we've got our mixing bowl, and then we've got our pie tin. You want like an 8x8 or a 9x9. I'm going to set that to the side, and I'm going to pull my mixing bowl here in front of me. What I'm going to do now is basically take my classic yellow cake. We're going to take it all out, and we're just going to pour it into the bowl here. So you don't need to follow any of the additional ingredients on the cake box. You just need the cake mix itself. We're going to pour it into our bowl here. You want to be careful because it could go everywhere. We've got that here, okay? We'll throw this out and make sure that we're not making too much of a mess. Throw that out there. And then I'm going to grab a knife, and we've got our butter. So you can do about, it really depends. I would say now I'd probably do about 1.5 sticks of butter. So we're going to take the butter out. Again, not the healthiest, but definitely quite delicious. So we've got our 2 sticks of butter here. Now I let it sit at room temperature for a bit, and we're going to take the butter and you're going to unfold it, and then we're just going to cut it and cube it into, and then mix it into our crumble, our cake crumble here. So I've taken that out. We're going to put this one to the side. We're just going to keep cutting it just like this. Again, you can use a butter knife, which is what I'm using. You can use a sharper knife if you want to. Also a fun butter hack, if your knife has been run under hot water, it'll just slice through it nice and easy. So we're just going to keep on slicing it all the way down. Now you don't want to touch it too much because it will get all over your hands. But we're just going to keep cutting it just like that. As you can see. Again, not the best, but I've got it cut. And then what I'm going to do is cut it into quarters. So you can stack it just like that. Doesn't have to be perfect, but we just want to make it so it's a little bit easier to crumble into our cake batter here. So we're just going to crumble it in. Again, it's been sitting out at room temperature, so it's getting all mixed into my fingers here, just like that. And just kind of crumble it into the cake here. And this is not going to be a clean clean recipe here because I'm about to stick my fingers into the butter batter here. And so we can just really crumble it all up. So you probably only need about a stick of butter. I have the other stick just in case we want to add more, but I'm going to mix this together and see how I feel about it. But basically what this does is the butter helps the cake batter, which is filled with like the flour and the sugar and the additional flavorings, to kind of really meld together and get nice and crisp on top of our pastry as we cook it in the oven. Now my oven has been preheating. It's preheated at 350 degrees. So we're just going to go ahead and mix this together. As you can see, it's looking good. We're crumbling it all up, just like that. We're going to keep on crumbling it up. So I am probably going to add a little bit more butter into it. And you just want to squeeze your fingers all together because that's what it's gonna really meld and make a nice like crumble to put on top of our peaches. Yeah, just like that. Now, a little bit messy here. So I'm going to rinse my hands and then I'm going to go ahead and cut a little bit more butter up. Getting it nice and rinsed. I can smell the vanilla, the yellow cake powder. You know, it's a nice classic. I'm going to take this towel there we go. Still got butter and powder all over my hands, but that is A-okay. We're going to cut it in half. I'm probably only going to do about half of the butter stick now. Just like that. We've got it cut. But before I do that, I want to make sure that I'm greasing the bottom of my pan. So I just took my butter. I'm just going to take the stick and grease it all around the edges and in the middle here. All right, looks great to me. We're going to move that out of the way. And here we go. We're just going to cut it up nice and fast, just like that. Now you can have it at cold temperature too, but the room temperature just makes it a little bit easier to deal with, especially when you're trying to crumble it all up inside of your pastry batter mixture here. So just throw it in, just like that. Great. I'll mix it up a little bit further, but before I do that and my hands get super messy, I'm gonna go ahead and we're gonna go ahead and put our peaches into our baking dish here. So the peaches will come in its own like juices. You wanna drain a little bit of it out, so we're gonna drain it out before we pour it in officially. You wanna keep some, but not too much. So I'm gonna open it there, as you can see. And then we're just gonna go over here to the sink. We'll drain out just a little bit. All right, looks great. I'll put a little bit more out. There we go. And then we're gonna just pour it into the bottom of our dish here. Now you could probably do 2 cans if you wanted to. This is just gonna be a nice and small serving here. And we're gonna mix this all together, just like that. And again, this is a crumble, so it doesn't have to look perfect. We're just gonna crumble it all together. All right, as you can see, it looks nice and crumbly, right? So we're gonna just take this mixture, and I'm gonna take the crumbles, and I'm gonna pour it on top of our peaches. We'll just kind of mix it together, and then we're gonna pop it into the oven, and it's just going to bake, and it'll be that simple, just like that. Okay, looks good, all mixed together. And it's okay if it spreads apart, it's okay. You know, you could do 2 cans of peaches to fill this, but we're just going for a small individual serving. So I'm gonna pop it into the oven, thanks to my messy hands. And we're just gonna let it bake for about 15 to 20 minutes or until our crumble has melted together and everything looks good. Nice, simple, fast, 3-ingredient dessert for your friends and family.
Good morning, Vail.
One of the longest-running syndicated television series is back, America's Black Forum, a weekly series highlighting the latest in our lifestyles, business, entertainment, and finance. We introduce you to entrepreneurs who are making their mark in the business world and leaders who are fighting for change.
Welcome to America's Black Forum.
Tune in each week to know what's happening in our world today on America's Black Forum.
I'm Amy Goodman, host of Democracy Now! Our independent news hour offers diverse perspectives and unique opinions, often unheard in the mainstream media, live as the news unfolds. Tune in for Democracy Now!, The War and Peace Report, weekday mornings at 9 and evenings at 6 on TV8 Vail, Comcast Xfinity Channel 92. There's more for you on Channel 92.
Welcome to Nantucket Rope Bracelets. All of our stylish bracelets are handmade in our Nantucket workshop. using only the best non-shrinking line with soft, flexible finish. Find us at NantucketRopeBracelets.com and order your beautiful piece from Nantucket today.
I'm Danella Richard. I've made a career traveling the world. I've worked for some of the biggest names in travel, and now I've traded in my business suit for a swimsuit. Swimming with the sharks, swinging at the edge of the world, throwing back a few shots, or shall I say spirits. Woo. Eating some of the best cuisine, and even making a few furry friends along the way. I invite you to come along with me and discover the world.
Join us in exploring the everyday lives of community members here in the Vail Valley. Hear their inspiring stories of how they came here, their contributions to our community, and why they chose to call this place home. We want you to be one of our neighbors. If you would like to be featured or nominate someone to be featured, please send an email to Danielle@tv8vail.com. We look forward to featuring your story right here on TV8.
Hey, it's your boy, Nephew Tommy, your host for an all-new season of Black College Quiz, where the nation's best and brightest display their knowledge of Black history and culture while competing for prizes and scholarships. So get ready to see HBCU Nation take the academic field. Black College Quiz! BCQ! Black College Quiz! BCQ! Black College Quiz! BCQ! Yeah, man.
Good morning, Vail.
Welcome back to the couch. Joining us now is Tegan with the Eagle County Library District. Tegan, how are we doing?
Good, doing good.
So it is spooky season.
It is spooky season.
At the libraries.
At the libraries. Well, I think everywhere.
and everywhere, right? So that means so much for you guys right now. So much is going on.
That does.
But let's talk about some of these spooky books that we got.
I brought in a genre I don't read.
Okay, yeah, that's totally fine.
So yes, it's spooky season, but I figured I should bring in items that showcase spooky season. So we got film, we've got books. Horror is just not my cup of tea, but that's okay.
Yeah.
So when we have people that come in and we don't always read alike, we have different tastes and genres that we're interested in. Horror's not mine.
Yeah.
But I have some colleagues that love horror, so that's who I go tap when there's some readers advisory questions. I also know where to look up to find you some recommendations if you're into horror.
How do you define horror?
I think so we always start with readers advisory with like, what was the last good book you read? Because that gives us an idea of what you're interested in. So I think horror to me, but it's not my genre, so I see all sorts of subsections in there being like, no.
Yeah, right.
just not doing it. And so it is a genre, so people do write to horror. So I would say there's some graphic scenes. It's things that, for me, scare me.
It's okay. We're in a safe place here.
Right?
Yeah.
So I have a hard time reading it because I get super scared, and then I have to go out in the real world, and and this is in my head.
Right.
So of course you've got your serial killers, you've got your psychological thrillers, you've got like the spooky fables, you've got twists on fairy tales, you got true crime. For me, that's like subsections of the horror, because for me the horror is like the anxiety and getting all scared and just being like, I don't know. There's a book I really want to read, but it's in that genre, and so I look at it all the time being like, I want to read you, but I'm afraid. So it is good to step out of your comfort zone. So we did have a Books in Bloom author that wrote more horror, so it was a good entry for me to get into reading some of it, because I was like, I better show up for my assignment. Do I gravitate to it? No. But can I help you find books for it? Absolutely.
Yeah, and the libraries have all of these.
All of these, yes.
Kinds,
all
those
time.
subcategories you can ask for.
Yeah.
But what's this one? The
Okay, so
skull.
this
This one's not too scary.
Yeah, so this is what I could do.
Okay.
I can do like cute horror or like creepy. I wouldn't say horror. This is a kid's book. And this is, I would say, like a creepy fairy tale, a riff on a fairy tale. And so the author, who's amazing, John, he went up to Alaska, and I believe it was Alaska. He went into a library and he found like an old fairy tale book, and he read this story, and it stuck with him for a year. So he decided to kind of retell it. And so this book has pictures, and it's a nice creepy little tale. And so it's good. Good creepy, good little scary, not big scary, little scary.
It's the time of season.
Yep, it's the time of season, so this is what I can get into. And then he went back and he reread the tale, and he's like, whoa, this was nothing that I remember. And it just goes to show you, like, you can recreate from inspiration, and as human beings, we're always riffing off of each other in our cultures. And so this was in a way that he took an old tale, but in his head he made it into something that was his.
Amazing.
So I really like this book. I forgot to bring Poultrygeist. Again, it's a children's picture book about the chicken that crossed the road to get to the Poultrygeist.
Gotcha.
Yep, to get to the other side.
Oh, that's nice.
Yes, and so it starts off a little abrupt with the chicken trying to cross the road, and then there's a bunch of puns in there, and you realize, throughout the story, and it's funny, and kids laugh, but the chicken is a ghost, and so it's just a fun, again, cute, spooky, spooky. That's why I fit. Tale that, again, when you have, spooky season, there's different, obviously, levels of spooky, which, cute spooky for me, horror not so much. And so you can bring your family along for the rides and kind of dictate, like, where they are on their fear spectrum. And, there's lots of books that we have that can cover different fear spectrums.
Amazing. Yeah, I don't know where I fit on that fear spectrum, probably somewhere in the middle there, but it's also more than the books, right? There's all these movies.
Yes, there's movies, of course, we've got short stories, we've got novels, there's audiobooks as well, so if you like to hear spooky stories told to you, because some of the narrators are
so
amazing.
Good. Yes, so good.
Absolutely.
So good. I've listened to some on some drives. And man, talk about goosebumps. While driving, not the safest thing, but driving at nighttime, listening to a little spooky story.
Yep, spooky story. Nothing I had a playaway, and I was hiking, and I was listening to, it turned out to be...
While you were hiking?
Yeah, so that was a mistake.
Yes, of course.
Because all of a sudden I was like, oh, this book is so not what I need for me being alone in the woods. This is not making me feel comfortable.
Yeah, for sure. But Halloween's right around the corner.
It's right around the corner.
Get in that
get in the season,
mood,
get into the spooky season. And again, spooky season can be for everyone. There's a spectrum of scary and horror and fear. You can do cute spooky, or you could do horror.
Love it.
And I'm happy to help you out.
Love it. What else is going on at the library? There's some stuff with costumes and story
time.
and
spooky season, we have people coming into the library in costume, especially for our story time, so all the littles can come in dressed up, and we do like a little library trick-or-treating.
So cute.
So that they can practice trick-or-treating, because that can be really intimidating, especially for the wee ones. You're knocking on people's houses, and they're coming out in costume, and you're just like, whoa.
A little different world these days.
What is this?
Yeah.
And so it gives them an opportunity to practice at the library, so they can trick-or-treat the library.
Oh, I love that.
And so we'll have our little baskets, and then we watch a parade of littles in their costumes, and it's so much fun. So
great. What's like the popular costume right now? What do you see?
Ooh, that's a great question. You got the fairies, the princesses, the butterflies. You got the superheroes. I'm curious to see this.
Right,
I'm curious to see what's going to be popping this year, because it's you get the pulp culture and pop culture, and then you get the classics. So the witches, and I would do a cat. I would try not to be too scary. And also I don't want to scare little kids. So try to be like cute, scary, so that they feel comfortable. So it'll be interesting to see what we get with the littles, and then when we go out trick-or-treating and there's all those festivities, that's where you see a little bit more imagination and some creep factor that I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep my distance.
Amazing. Well, the library's up and down the valley.
Yes.
Free to go into. you, free to get a library card.
Absolutely.
I have to tell you, I was randomly sitting around. I think I was having lunch one day, randomly thinking about getting a library card. So it is.
Did you come in?
No, but it's creeping its way into my mind.
Okay.
I'm starting to randomly think about it. So
just come on over.
Get that free library card. Check all this stuff out. And yeah, it's spooky season.
It's spooky season. You can enjoy it even if horror's not your thing.
Yeah. Anything else coming up at the library you need to know about?
Our after-school programs. So again, we have after-school for all elementary school students, teens, and then we have adult programs. We have been having some drop-in craft programs. Our silent reading program.
So much going on.
Yep, so much going on, and we're going to be gearing up for more in the winter.
Always going on. Speaking of winter, we should take one last look at the weather. You said you saw some snow this morning
I was
up
so
at New
excited.
York on the New York range there, driving in. So that's exciting to see some snow. And yeah, I know it's going to be a kind of cold couple days coming up and into the weekend here. Highs kind of in those 50, lows in those 30s, kind of getting into that snow-making weather here, which is very exciting and looking like things might heat up a little bit into next week. We'll see, but it's definitely going to be a cloudy couple days here, and that's okay because it's been pretty warm out.
Yeah.
This past month. It's been a warm fall, which has been great. We've been talking about those leaves hung around, and now we get a little bit of snow up high and some leaves sticking around. So should be a beautiful weekend out here in the Rocky Mountains. And golf is kind of coming to an end for me, Tegan. Was out there yesterday. We were kind of pushing it, but we still got a little bit of time in the golf season. I'm thinking of putting my snowboard together maybe today. Just got that itch to touch some snow stuff.
Yep, absolutely.
Talking about switching out the shorts for the ski pants. So we're getting in that kind of fun middle time of the year. Looking forward to a great time to stop by the library.
Yes.
I'll probably be by the Avon Library later
Perfect.
today. I do love it over there. The views up of Beaver Creek.
Oh,
Speaking
yes.
of winter, I am just so ready. We're getting ready for it. Thanks so much for tuning in to Good Morning Vail this week. It was a fun one. And thanks so much for taking to join us. We will see you all next week. Have a great weekend. Thanks, Nick.
See what lies in store for you. There's so many things to